Have you ever wondered why there are no cats or dogs in the world of Zootopia? Let's find out. In this video, we'll go through all the movie's bloopers and some crazy facts about Zootopia 2. It's true, there are no cats or dogs in the film. That's because this world is a utopia, where predators and prey live together, cities, technology, laws, everything just like in our world. But the most familiar animals simply don't exist. Here's why. In our world, primates evolved into humans, but in the world of Zootopia, humans never appeared. Without people, mammals evolved on their own. They built their society, culture, and civilization. And what about cats and dogs? The directors explained it. There was simply no one to domesticate them. Dogs are the result of humans selectively breeding wolves. Cats, too, are a product of the human world. Without humans, these species never came into being. So, Zootopia is a world where the absence of humans completely changed the course of evolution. Did you notice this funny mistake in the movie too? Here's the thing. When the reptile offers worms to Nick and Judy, being a herbivore, is naturally horrified. Yet she ends up swallowing a tiny worm. Nick, on the other hand, gets the unlucky one, the biggest worm. He grimaces, struggles, and looks like he's about to spit it out. Here's the interesting part. In the wild, worms are perfectly normal food for a fox. The directors explained this mistake by saying that Nick is too much of a city fox, used to processed and ready-made food. This little detail in Zootopia 2 was noticed only by the most attentive viewers. We know that Judy first met Pubert at the anniversary party, where she accidentally bumped into him. But actually, Pubert appeared in the film much earlier. Almost no one noticed. It's known that he helped smuggle Gary across the border. And here's where it gets really interesting. At the beginning of the movie, Judy and Nick try to expose a corrupt customs officer, but the operation fails because the radio wasn't turned off. The officer flees, and Judy and Nick steal the pig's pink car to chase him down. It's at that exact moment that Pubert appears for a split second, probably to get Gary out of the cargo so he could attend the anniversary party, where Gary could get his hands on the coveted book. So let's continue. After watching this video, you'll probably see the movie in a whole new way. Did you notice this strange moment when you watched it? Right at the beginning of the film, Gary accidentally bites Chief Bogo, and he instantly loses consciousness. Later, we see him in the ambulance, where the hamsters are administering the antidote. But here's the weird part. Even after a few days, Bogo is still in the hospital. Later, Judy is also given the antidote, but she doesn't pass out and can still talk. Gary injects the antidote, and Judy comes to her senses literally within seconds. So the question is, how did this happen? Buffaloes are many times bigger than a rabbit. You'd think the poison would affect Judy much more. But in the end, it's Bogo who's out of action for a long time, while Judy bounces back almost immediately. Why is that? Did you also notice that one of the police zebras in Zootopia 2 isn't a real zebra? In the film, we're introduced to a police duo known as the Zebras. Although both of them look like zebras at first glance, one is actually a horse. Zebraxton is a real zebra, while Zebrovsky is a horse with brown fur and a light-colored mane. But why did he paint himself like a zebra? It's purely a comedic touch and a nod to classic cop movies from the 80s and 90s. The Zebros duo is a parody of the tough cop partners trope. One is real, and the other, not so much. Here's another moment that might seem odd. Why don't we see Mayor Lionheart during the prison escape? When Nick and Neil accidentally trigger a mass breakout, the inmates rush outside, and Miss Bellwether calmly makes her way to the airport. But Lionheart isn't among them. So where did he go? The answer is simpler than it seems. The thing is, Lionheart wasn't a true villain. He discovered the truth before anyone else, and tried to protect the city, even if it meant bending the law. As a predator mayor, he preferred to keep the information hidden, rather than make it public, and that decision cost him dearly. But his crime is nothing compared to Miss Bellwether's actions. Her plan was a deliberate act of manipulation, while Lionheart acted out of fear, which is why his sentence was most likely relatively short. Why didn't Mr. Big's son-in-law appear in the movie? When Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde arrived at Mr. Big's place, Frou Frou's husband was nowhere to be seen. In the first film, he appeared on screen quite often, but this time it's just Mr. Big, Frou Frou, and their granddaughter. There's one theory, but it's a bit dark. Everyone knows that Mr. Big is a clear nod to Vito Corleone from The Godfather. In that story, Vito's son-in-law betrayed the family and was taken care of. Following that line of thought, it's likely that Mr. Big froze him, just as he had warned him back at the wedding. Now for some crazy facts. Get ready. Many people assume that Nick and Judy are roughly the same age, but the reality might surprise you. Let's start with Judy. This one's pretty straightforward. In the first film, it's mentioned that she was 9 years old during the school play. After that, she completes her education and training, which takes 15 years. That means she becomes a Zootopia police officer at 24. Nick's age is a bit trickier, but there's a clue in the amount of his arrest fine. While discussing tax evasion, Nick admits he's been at it since he was 12. Judy quickly does the math and calculates the amount he owes. From this, we can deduce Nick's age. It's also revealed that the events of the first film take place in 2016, meaning Judy was born in the 90s and Nick in the 80s. That's a full 8-year age gap between them. Why does Judy keep hitting Nick? At first glance, it might seem like she's just overly energetic. But there's more to it. It's actually a nod to real-life behavior. In the wild, female rabbits can show aggression during courtship, literally boxing the males they're interested in. So it's entirely possible that Judy is subconsciously showing affection toward Nick this way. And it's not just a theory. One of the directors confirmed this, calling Judy's behavior a form of love language. Crazy fact. Many Zootopia viewers were convinced that Gazelle was male, and this isn't a joke. Officially, both in the film and according to the director, she is female. The confusion comes from her horns. In nature, females of this species have much smaller ones. The character is voiced by singer Shakira. By the way, did you notice this interesting detail? Why does Gazelle react so sharply to the zebras in one scene? Interestingly, she isn't upset at all when Judy enters her tent uninvited. But when the zebras come in, her reaction is instant. Earlier in the scene, a zebra bumped into a tiger, who happens to be one of Gazelle's bodyguards. If she hadn't caught him, he could have had a nasty fall. There's a fan theory that this tiger is actually her love interest. Gazelle has always supported him. Even in the first film, when predators were being oppressed due to losing control, she led a rally in their defense. All of this suggests that her reaction isn't about hating zebras. It's about a personal conflict and protecting someone she cares about. A little about the world of Zootopia. Have you ever wondered if animal incomes in Zootopia depend on their size? Formally, everyone uses the same currency, but the benefits they get from it are very different. Food that would last a small animal a lifetime is just a single meal for a larger one. This means that even with the same prices, bigger animals have to spend more. It follows that the balance is maintained through salaries. Small animals earn less because their expenses are minimal, while larger ones earn more. Otherwise, they simply couldn't survive. Interestingly, Nick takes advantage of this loophole in the first film. That raises the question, what about fines? Are they the same for everyone, or do they also depend on the size of the animal? Why did Gary the snake ask Judy for permission before hugging her? Gary is a very polite and kind character, despite the fact that in the world of Zootopia, snakes are feared and considered dangerous. For over 100 years, propaganda and lies have made people see them as creatures capable of harming others. Gary knows very well that if he hugs someone without warning, it could be misinterpreted as an attack, or even an attempt to eat them, and the film proves this. In one scene, the police see Judy being wrapped by Gary and immediately assume he's choking her or trying to eat her. Did you notice that Finnick only appears for a few seconds in Zootopia 2? It's really strange considering he was one of the most memorable characters in the first film. Here's the reason. He was voiced by actor Tommy Lister, who passed away in 2020. Disney deliberately chose not to replace his voice or use AI. Tommy's voice was an essential part of the character, and replacing it would have meant losing Finnick himself. In the film, only archived lines of his voice are used. Did you notice this important moment in the post-credits scene? After the first Zootopia, viewers were left wondering why an entire metropolis was inhabited only by mammals. In the sequel, reptiles and sea creatures finally appear, expanding the world and showing that it's bigger than it seemed in the first film. But the most interesting part happens after the credits. Spoiler alert. When Judy steps away from the window, a feather falls into the frame. The camera lingers for just a moment, but it's enough to spark a chain of fan theories. It looks like Zootopia 3 might finally bring birds into the spotlight, but the question remains, why weren't they included until now? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Not everyone has seen Zootopia 2 yet, but Zootopia 3 is already officially in the works. The directors have confirmed that the project is underway and promised not to delay it like they did with the second film, a whole 9 years. In the post-credits scene of Zootopia 2, a falling feather appears, which is a clear hint at the bird story in the third installment. Plus, just recently, director Jared Bush shared that work has begun on the first sketches, so we can expect the film no earlier than 2030. And don't forget to subscribe or you'll miss everything.